All right, David from Jefferson, Missouri. KMFC is the station. Hi, David. Welcome to New Life.
Hey guys, how are you?
Great. How about yourself?
Doing well. I've got a question for you.
Okay.
I've got a 6-year-old son and a 4-year-old daughter, but really the 6-year-old son is the subject of my question. There's some things I'd like to do with him, places I'd like to take him, sporting events and other public places, but as you probably know, the language that you hear in those places sometimes isn't appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering when it would be appropriate for me to move from sort of an isolation approach to an insulation approach, and be able to take him to those places.
Or an inoculation approach, maybe.
What's that?
Or an inoculation approach.
Okay, what would that be?
Well, that would be where you have, when you get inoculated against some disease, right? You get a shot that keeps you from getting it. And so I think, over the course of development and child rearing and all of that, and just us in general, what the Bible talks about is our not being isolated or insulated, from the world, but to be able to be so inoculated against catching what it has that we can be in the presence of a lot of stuff, and because we're processing it and having good parents, talking to us, and a good support system and all of that we don't get affected by it. I know that's the way it is with my kids.
Yeah.
We can talk more about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that right after this. I do know this: if your goal is to protect your children from anything evil or immoral, it's a failed strategy. They need to be prepared. We'll talk about it right after this. You're listening to New Life Live, and we're glad that you are.
I was a prisoner in my own mind.
I was convinced that no one would like me because I'm fat.
Had it all, and I still went back to that junk.
The New Life Weekend, Every Man's Battle Workshop, and Lose It for Life Workshop have been transforming lives all over the country. Right now, throughout the month of September, New Life Ministries is taking $200 off any of these events.
My wife and I have connected both spiritually and emotionally.
I came back a completely different person.
There are 3 New Life Weekends left: Seattle, Washington, D.C., and Indianapolis. 4 Every Man's Battle Weekends: Washington, D.C., Atlanta, Pittsburgh, and San Jose. And a special 5-day Lose It for Life in January in San Diego. Call and register during the month of September and get $200 off any of these events. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Don't wait until October. Sign up today. 1-800-639-5433.
Hi everybody, Max Locato here. As a pastor, I've seen how important it is for people to come and get good Christian counsel. People make decisions that turn out to be the wrong decision. I heard Steve Arterburn say on New Life not too long ago that the same thinking that got you into your mess isn't going to get you out of it. If you find yourself in a spot and you don't know what the next right thing to do is, then won't you call the good people at New Life? They have a network of Christian counselors around the country that's more than 850 strong. Call today, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. And tell them you need to find someone to help you. They're likely to have a counselor in your area to help you with whatever you're struggling with. It will be good, godly counsel. Call today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE, 639-5433.
We'd love to hear from you if you have a question or comment. Call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. All 3 of us are here, Dr. Jill Hubbard and Dr. Henry Cloud, myself, Steve Arterburn, and we're glad that you're with us. We're talking over here with David, and he's got a 6-year-old son, and he's asking the question, should I, or how could I, or would it be wise to take him now out into the world where he might hear foul language? And
Like sporting events, right?
yeah, and Henry's saying maybe you could inoculate him and prevent this from being something that's a horrible tragedy. Excuse me, Terry? What? Somebody was talking in my ear. Just tell.
You know, every now and then
It gets
Steve
so
hears
distracting.
voices.
I know.
All right.
And
Steve?
have you had your medication today?
Yeah.
I have. Yes, but it's never enough. Okay, so anyway, you talk about inoculation.
Well, I was just saying, you know, and Daniel, I don't know what are you talking about, like a Major League Baseball game or something?
Yeah, something like that, where somebody's making comments about the players or the coaches, or just maybe something else in general, where there's some words being said that I try not to use, don't use as much as possible.
Well,
but definitely don't.
I think that's the first great thing, right? Is when kids see things that are different than the way their parents act, then the parents are kind of the standard in their heads, and they look at it like, what was that? And probably, pretty soon, he's 6, he's going to be at school, and he's going to hear most of these words pretty fast. And what happens is, in the course of that, parents say, that's not a word we use, that's a bad word. And so kids begin to notice that, and they go, Daddy, he said that bad word. And you go, I know. Can you believe that? And it becomes a walking through life learning experience.
You know what my dad did? Every summer in Dallas, the Dallas State Fair, they had summer stock, and they would do all of these musicals, and they would bring in people from Broadway and all, and we'd get to go up there. And it really affected my life, and that was what I always wanted to do with my life. But my dad, at age 6, said to me, now, Steve, I want you to be able to experience these wonderful musicals. But I have to tell you, there are some words that get said, not a lot, but every now and then, that I think you're big enough not to repeat. Well, repeating them became the little thing to do. Not repeating them became the grown-up thing to do. And, of course, he never used foul language. My mom did every now and then when she got really frustrated. No, I'm kidding, Mom. I'm kidding. No, but we didn't hear it around the house. But anyway, I think that's what you say to him. Hey, listen, we're going to go to this event. Somebody may say this. You're big enough that you can hear that. No, that's not part of our family, and not repeat it.
Well, and Henry, I thought when you were talking about inoculation, you meant that David should start cussing a lot at home.
Just
so
a little
that he
bit.
Would kind of be,
Some households inoculate. I remember my little one Lucy saying, point is, a lot of times they're so clueless they don't even know what's going on anyway.
Right.
But
yeah.
she had heard about the S word,
Mm-hmm.
and there was this big buzz around
the
the
S word, yes.
And so one day, one of them said something. I said, "Shut up! That didn't happen." And she goes, "Dad, you said the S word."
Yeah.
So the S word was "shut up." So
My kids do.
it's just
it's so funny.
And there's a morphing into, at some point, the blinders slowly come off, but you need to be there in the trenches with them.
Okay.
Well, and just one last point is that you can't keep bad things from happening around him.
That's
you
right.
try to protect him as much as you can, David, but really it's what you do with those things when they happen.
Yep.
So I think, having some exposure helps him to develop that discernment.
David, glad you brought it up, man. Thanks for
All right,
thanks for being involved with your son.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.